Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jessica with Your Better Business Bureau, and we are back with another 2023 Torch Award for Business Integrity interview. The company, CU Under Construction. I have the owner here, Ryan Schriefer, who has been in business since 2004, going on 20 years now. So we are going to hear about his company and their journey to where we are today and all about how they run their company with ethics and integrity. So Ryan, thank you so much for making time for us today. Where were you in 2004? What made you want to start a company?
Well, I was always kind of the entrepreneur spirit. I mowed yards and stuff through my teenage years. And then in 2023, 2020, or not 2020, when I was 22, 23 years old, I started getting into the construction and the trade side of things. And I got the bug, it bit me, and I started loving contracting. And I thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it turned out to be. So that kind of drew me into it even further with the amount of work that things do take. It wasn't quite like the Chip and Joanna Gaines TV 30-minute
Right.
flips and stuff. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I got started, and then it just is.
Yeah, and all of you business owners just sweeping under that rug of here we are now, but I want to dive in a little bit more into that journey. You touched on when you started, you had like an ideal of, oh, I'll just run my own company and it's going to be great. What kind of realities did you face early on?
I started out where I flipped a burned out house. I met a couple who had a house that had caught fire, and my parents had went through a home fire, and they needed to sell the house, so they sold it at a decent price, and that got me going. And then I thought, well, we'll build houses, so I bought a backhoe after I did well on that property, and I set on two spec homes for a year and a half, and that kind of opened my eyes to, oh, things don't always sell or work as you planned. Everything look on paper does not transition to the real world as quick. So there was a time where I was paying free mortgages in the early years, and I'm learning and honing in on my framing and trim carpentry and tile work skills while I'm building a network of new friends in the industry. Um, and through building those new friendships, one of the things I saw is I grew up in a small town of Gilman, Illinois. And one of the things there is the carpenter back in the 80s and early 90s, they kind of did it all. They'd be your electrician, your carpenter, maybe do a little bit of plumbing. And what I found being in the Champaign bigger community was everybody blamed the other guy. And I kind of saw like, wow, there's a way to create a new mousetrap. So that's kind of where some of the ideas of why I thought, hey, maybe one day I can have a construction company that grows together in a different way than what I'm seeing.
That's fantastic. So identifying early on what was broken about it and then really being intentional going into it of how you wanted it to work. So there wasn't as much animosity or challenge among the crew.
Exactly. And accountability. One of the things being in a farm, growing up in a farm community, you were held accountable for everything, and if it wasn't my dad, it was my cousins. So you couldn't like sneak off. Everybody kind of held everybody accountable for what they say they do or not do. So I saw the client experience wasn't always maybe what it should be. When you're like, oh, I'm sorry, the plumber can't make it, that's going to throw your whole timeline off by 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to make excuses unless I knew how to control that, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So accountability being one you just mentioned, what other values did you have when you were building this foundation of your new business? What was really important to you?
One of the big things is, like I just kind of said, growing up with family members and stuff that held you accountable. Not everybody does it in the kindest ways. And I had worked for a few other people, a landscaper and a couple other people that were just really hard on you bosses. And I believe that, you get more when you work together, and lead. You kind of steward people through leadership, and that was one of the big things that our company is built on, and that's one of the things that my partners, we all wanted to see, was like, we want to be kind, and we want to teach people in a kind and nice way, and trust that they can grow in it without this harsh part that sometimes just comes out of construction, because it is hard work.
For sure. I think that's a really important aspect of a mindset of growth and training. It sounds like where they
Yes.
probably, I mean, what is your perspective of your employees with that kind of leadership style? Do you feel like they feel safe coming to you with mistakes or questions?
100%. I think that our leader, like a family, that can be good and bad.
Yeah.
There's we have people that really grow and thrive off of that. But to the other end of the spectrum, being nice, you also have to hold people to the standard, and not be overly nice. We all have jobs to do. So I do think it opens people up to coming more to us as owners. We get told all the time it's like a big family. We get new hires. We just had a new hire the other day. She told Mary, one of our partners in it, runs the office. This is like one of the second day in. She's like, I've never had a job that this brings lunch in and is so much fun. So I love hearing that. And the second day in, someone starting here.
Very cool. What other kinds of things do you do? So you bring lunch in and the atmosphere is family. What else?
Well, I think we do every month. We go through everybody's, whoever's birthdays that month. We have we post their birthdays up everywhere. We do a lot of weekly meetings. We do leadership training. We do job skills training. But then we just do some really fun events. We not this Saturday, next Saturday is our Christmas event, and it's fun. I mean, it's like, to quote people, it's off the chain. You get, it's like a big wedding reception, and it's everybody that works together, and it brings a tear to my eyes every year, because you see everybody having fun, and we're all working together, and people choose to come.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not that, oh, we got to go to the company Christmas party. It's, oh, you're going to the company Christmas party.
Exactly.
Nice, nice. So what do you guys, is it music? Is it games, food? I assume.
This year we have a live band. The last few years, we've always done like a casino night,
Okay.
and so we do like a casino and a DJ. But we rent a really nice event center that they have weddings at and stuff, and it's really well ran. And my wife does the marketing and the events, so she takes it to the utmost. She says every year it's like planning another wedding.
Oh, nice. Nice. Only, yeah. I assume she enjoys it though. It's not as
Oh, she does. She
stressful.
does. It's also, you enjoy the day after.
Yeah, yeah, very good, very good. So, I want to talk a little bit more about that leadership training you spoke about. Why do you do that, and what is the focus usually about?
Um, well, it all focuses a little bit around our work, of course, but the big focus for between what I think and the other owners here we think is, we want people to develop as people. And leadership is something that we all need to continually work on, no matter what aspect of life. I think everybody has some form of leadership ability in them. It's just if it can be brought out, and when is that going to be brought out? So our expectation, leader.
I think I lost you.
We try to get skills in for our job.
It
We try
it
to
cut. I
bring
lost
skills
you
in for our job.
for just a little bit. So
Oh,
I really like what you were saying though about leadership, everyone having to work on their leadership, that it's not a once and done type thing. And then it cut out. So I'm sure you said something really brilliant.
Yeah, well, I was
there,
just
but-
saying it's it's really for we're wanting to make people better leaders in their personal lives too. So it's work focused, but our focus reaches into our home life and where we can go as being a leader in the world, not just our workspace.
Yeah, the nomination that we received for your company specifically mentioned how you give back to your community. So when you're talking about being a good human, not just at work or as a leader, but out in the world, tell me about what your company does for the Champaign Urbana community.
Well, we love to give the gift of financial means, and we do that, and we usually try to focus those on either needs that somebody that's either had a disability or a family an issue, and then really all of our hearts are for kids and where kids are at these days. So. Community support the FCA that gives a free camp away. We support boys and girls clubs and stuff like that. But then we also, all of us like to give back where we can ourselves in our personal lives. So, between either an event that's held at the park or things that we can help with as community service, we usually try to find ways that we can be involved physically and be there for people in that way also.
Wonderful. That's awesome. So all the employees are encouraged to volunteer as well. And then the company overall has several organizations that you're, financially contributing to or otherwise volunteering for, with a big focus on kids.
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So we've talked about, leadership a little bit and your ongoing focus for that development skill. And the culture you touched on being family oriented, and your newest employee really feeling that vibe of, oh my gosh, we're all working together here and this is really cool. But what other aspects of working for CU under construction would you talk about?
Well, I think that we are a growing company, and I don't want to shy away from the fact that we're a trades and construction company. So we're out there doing the kind of, you think of dirty, micro and dirty jobs, and we're out there doing a lot of work that's ugly and not always fun, and most people would pass on doing that on their daily as their daily work. And one of the things I know we're good at, what I really have a heart for and my partners do is making people excited about what we do with our hands, because the infrastructure and the things that most of us take for granted daily comes from the people that are out there in the cold fixing power lines or getting your water pipes fixed. And we really try to make the guys that are in the field, from the office to the field, all feel the importance of what they do as not just the job that is getting the paycheck, but it's the daily task of we're improving people's lives. And we want to take people from one of our core values is taking people and moving them from to a better place.
So I assume that's more than just a poster in your office. I mean, how do you guys make the guy feel that? I mean, what do you do for them that makes them truly feel that value?
Yeah, well, I think the one gotten to be over 100 people is they still get one-on-one some one-on-one time with us. We try to really focus more on what's going on in people's personal lives. I think a lot of it can be a touchy subject. It's not when you read a lot of business growth books and stuff, they're usually like, hey, be good to your employees, but leave personal stuff out of it. And for me, it all kind of it just intermixes. And the more that we can know when somebody has a life struggle or they're needing help, the more we can be there together to lift them up, encourage them, or have grace and from where they're at. So I do feel that a lot. We've had some, just things that we've found out and been able to do for people as a business, that between helping them get a loan for a house or a car to, dentures or whatever it may be, we're there to walk beside them. And we do that. We do it a lot. We have a lot of people. So there's always some sort of need that we try to help encourage them. And then we give them a lot of encouragement about how they're growing in their job so that they know this is a career, not just us here trying to work them really hard for the summer and lay them off all winter.
Right, right. That's fantastic for sure. How does that translate to your relationship with your customers? What do you think your customers have to say about their experience with your company?
Um, the reviews are always pretty positive. So our clients really seem to love us. We have a lot of jobs that we do, so I know there's things out there that we can always improve on. But the overall, what we get from our clients is, especially if they've ever done work with a contractor before, those are the ones that really appreciate us and really love what we do because they have that one point of communication. They're able to talk and get to know the project manager, and they actually just see people that are usually in great moods, enjoy what they're doing, and it transitions right over to the client. We have a guy, a young man named Corbin. I was just thinking of him when I'm talking about this because he was playing with the kids and went and personally bought like a little tool set with a couple kids. And
Oh,
that's the type of stuff that I want our employees to do and to feel comfortable doing. He's probably got that young boy excited about carpentry, and hopefully that lasts.
yeah.
But I know that the clients love that. I know that we do little things like that every day. That's happening with the people out there in the company, and they're given permission to be comfortable. We tell them we have a job to do. When you show up, start your work. But if someone comes up and starts asking you or talking about life or anything, they can take a step back and have a conversation with them and then get focused again. They know that our focus is our clients, not just the job.
Mhm.
And I think when your guys in the field feel they're comfortable, that if they get distracted for 20 minutes with the client, that's a huge thing for them. They feel pride in what they do, and they feel like they have a relationship. And I think that's really great for our clients.
For sure. So a lot of points to collect that feedback along the way of the job when they feel comfortable, talking to the client about, random things, but then that client's going to be more likely to say, hey, I need some help with this, or even better, come back with more positive feedback. So I think that's a great perspective to have in supporting them with developing those relationships for sure. That's fantastic. Really cool. This isn't part of your torch award application, but I was just curious, you mentioned developing that desire to learn carpentry or things like that with little kids. Do you guys do anything with local high schools or organizations to gain interest from younger people in the trades?
We do. I between me, my partner Mike, that an HVAC, and my brother, we go and visit high schools whenever they invite us, which is quite often. So I would say we probably speak at high schools somewhere between 9 to 12 times a year, and we want that to
Nice.
keep increasing. We have two who graduated in May that are electricians for us right now that are
Nice.
learning straight out of high school. I have a project manager who's now 28. It started at 19, and we trained him all the way from the field to where he's a PM. So going out to the schools, if anybody's listening and you're a teacher, please come hit us up. We would love to come and talk and get these young men and women encouraged into the trades and construction field.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think anytime they're given an opportunity to learn or even see hands-on what's involved, you get those neurons firing and they get excited about their future, which is always a good thing for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's a lot of people don't realize construction is, in the US is $1 trillion a year industry, and there is all types of jobs for men and women in it. And there's a lot of ways they can go from commercial, residential to the insurance. So the careers out there, I mean, I myself every year am more and more surprised at how many amazing career opportunities there are out there.
Well, I think this is a perfect segue. I mean, you mentioned early on in the interview about how some companies lead by fear or more of a gruff approach. So it's really important for people to be looking at the type of company that they're going to work for, knowing that early on your experience could be influenced either way. You know, if you have a really bad experience with that first
Yes.
employer, you may never know your potential in that industry versus working for a company like CU under construction, where you're focused on developing that person and the opportunities that they may be capable of. Is a huge differentiator for that young person looking for a job. So you guys are a BBB accredited business. So, you know, that tells people that we've looked into the company and determined that you're trustworthy. How have the values of the BBB really aligned with your core values of your company and helped your business?
Well, you might not know this, but contractors are trusted maybe just a little bit more than lawyers. So it's it's not like we're starting at a very low margin of like getting and gaining people's trust because of kind of the persona of what's been out there. And the construction industry is easy to tap into as far as usually somebody has a family member or somebody that needs a floor or something. So you could find yourself all of a sudden doing a little bit of construction, but you don't really know maybe what you're doing or how to grow in it. And you could really quickly have a small business, but not have gotten any education in business. And so, one of the big things that I like about the BBB that has really grown on me, because, from the get go, we were about taking care of our clients honest and transparent. But to be perfectly honest, I first thought maybe 3 or 4 years into business, and he's like, "Oh, you should join the BBB," and I'm like, "Got to pay money to what's this do?" I didn't really understand it as to where, a year or two after that, I'm like, "Oh, this really makes sense because people need to be able to go somewhere where it's not just word of mouth or someone said something bad or good, positive or negative. They have some place that they can go and get true feedback. And like you guys said, like you just said, you do your research, and they can get true feedback of what kind of company it is. And I am, not shy of saying we will make mistakes. There will be, it's construction. There could be problems, but we do a 3 year labor warranty and we stand behind our stuff. And that's what I want people to know, that, and they can get that through places like the BBB, and being able to let people know this is a good company to work with. And I've found it great. I actually look people up now to see if they're in the BBB, but
Yeah, yeah.
because
Once
it
you
tells me a lot about what they think about their business.
exactly, exactly. And one of the foundations that I'm really proud of this organization is not only can people come here, but we're also a voice of reason. You know, if people call, earlier this morning I had a consumer on the phone who was very fired up about a particular issue and had expected, the cake and the moon and all of the things, as a reasonable punishment for the business. And talking through with the consumer about what is reasonable and not can really head off a lot of difficult situations for businesses when a third party who has no stake either way can talk to the customer about the situation and offer some reasonable guidance as to how to resolve things going forward. I think that's another outstanding point of why we are here and can help business in that way of offering advice, offering solutions. If you're not sure who to hire in your area, we know the best.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it's huge to give feedback to people, because when anybody's spending money, we get emotionally attached, and you can be, like you said, a third party, and that's huge for both the business and the consumer.
Yeah.
And one thing I know is if people are accredited with you, they care enough about their business
Yeah.
that they usually are wanting to try to make anything right within reason.
Yeah. And that's the other thing we always tell people is it's not so much whether or not a business has a complaint or a negative review. It's what did they do? How do they respond to it is what the differentiator is what makes the difference, whether or not they're trustworthy. And just like you said, accredited businesses are that type of business that they want to respond. They want to take a look at the situation. They have every interest in customer satisfaction. So certainly proud to have CU Under Construction as part of our community of trustworthy businesses in Champaign, Urbana area. That's fantastic. And you guys are going on 20 years coming up already. Has it gone by fast?
It does. I look in the mirror and I don't know who this old man standing there is now. So it's like I still feel like I'm in my 20s. It's like, but maybe my knees don't. But
Right.
it
Yeah.
does go fast.
When you started in 2004, what was your vision for the company? Like if you could go back to that 22, 23-year-old and say, and ask yourself, where do you think we're going to be in 20 years? What do you think you would have said?
Um, it's people, not money. It's time and giving care and showing you care, and it's not easy. The things the 24 my 24-year-old self thought things would be easier. A lot of people, a lot of millionaires are made in real estate. I thought, oh, construction, this will be easy. I think a lot of people see us as a big business. They think, oh, they're doing well. There's a lot of broken vehicles. So I'd probably tell my 24-year-old self, enjoy the ride more, slow down and breathe it in. Great things are about to happen and will continually happen, but don't rush them. Try to enjoy it. I'm trying to do that at 43 now a little more.
Yeah, trying to be present in today and not too focused
Yeah.
on the future. But what would you say the legacy of your company is? If you were to ask someone 20 years from now, tell me about CU Under Construction. What do you think they would say the legacy of your company is?
I would hope that what would be said would be that I don't know who started that company or who the owners were, but the way that they treat their clients, the way that the people that are employed there love their job and they take it serious and as a career, and they treat each other with love and respect, and that's how that's how we're known, is how we treat others and between clients, vendors, and each other. That's the legacy I hope continues forward. And I really, when I got into it, it's named CU Under Construction because I grew up in an area where everybody named it after themselves, the business after themselves. And I didn't know at that time that I'd have 7 other partners. But I knew that I wanted a business that would be not me. It was going to be other people. And so the legacy I hope going forward is other people carry the torch, maybe award, but at least the torch in construction.
Yes, there you go. That's fantastic. I love it. Well, we hope everyone will join Ryan Schriefer and I in Champaign on December 30th at the Torch Awards. We're celebrating businesses like this in our community, companies that are so genuinely focused on their culture, their company, their community of giving back and recognizing those companies as above and beyond as exceptional in Central Illinois. So please join us on December 13th in Champaign. We will be at Papa Del's having world famous pizza, or you can join us in Peoria on the 14th of December. And we've got a couple of different meal choices for you to pick from then, but we will love to see you join us with great people and great food and celebrating wonderful core values like CU Under Construction has. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in a few weeks.